Barney Saunders. Aside from David Miscavige, are there some Scientologists at the upper echelons of the Church of Scientology who are in on the con to some degree and even outright fake believers, or is it simply limited to Miscavige? It interested me that former senior figures Marty Rathbun and Mike Rinder practiced independent Scientology for many years after exiting the church. So they clearly did not view Scientology as an outright con. What do you think? Hey, Barney, thanks for the question. And this is actually a really good one because it speaks to the fact that actually, as far as I am concerned, the upper echelon Scientologists, the guys who are in the hole, the guys at the upper ends of the Sea Org, are not in on the con. They are actually the most dedicated to the con. They're the ones who most believe it, which is why when they come out, you see them practicing independent Scientology, and there's more than a couple people who do that, or still think, even if they don't go get formal auditing or do formal Scientology out in what's called the field, out in the big wide world, they still might believe in certain principles or practices of Scientology because they have no idea what actually was being done to them. And so they've framed it a particular way. And that way is that it is helpful, useful, handled aberrations, they call them, problems, stresses, traumas, solved certain problems for them. I mean, those solutions that people experience when they go into these groups are not, to them, they're not fake experiences. Now, it is true, though, and this is where the controversy sort of comes in with this, is that they're also not necessarily permanent gains. We have many, many, many instances and stories and examples of people going in, getting a Dianetics session, getting some Scientology auditing, experiencing true relief from physical symptoms or psychological symptoms of stress or physical pains, chronic pains, asthma, allergies. These kind of things get addressed with Scientology auditing, and the person kind of pops out of it for lack of a better phrasing here, the symptomology, it kind of goes away for a while. They chill, they feel better. They're in you could also call this a period of euphoria, a period of great release, a lot of neurotransmitters flying around in the brain there, creating all kinds of awe, euphoria, ecstatic feelings, fervor. And there are very, very few experiences that are more powerful to the human experience than euphoria or awe. These are experiences that convince people of things. They change people's minds in very significant ways. If you have an experience of awe, or you go into a situation and you experience some kind of euphoric feeling as a result of that experience, and you assign the causation to that experience, then you're gonna be convinced that could that could solve cancer. You know what I mean? That could be the solution to the world's problems is right there. People buy into this stuff all the time. And when you have people at the upper echelons of Scientology, you're talking about people who have bought into this for years and years. People don't make it to the upper echelons of the Sea organization unless they've been around for a while. We've talked a little bit in the past about the qualifications for people to even go to the international base or go up, be promoted to the highest or higher echelons of Scientology. And those requirements usually involve time as well. You have to have been in the Sea Org for at least a year before they'll even consider sending you to the international base. And in that year's time, you have to have a production record. You have to have shown you're with the program and you can get things done. So, and believe me, not everybody in the first year of the Sea Org is in that state of mind. So, because it takes them a while to get used to the environment, how to function in it. So, so the point is that the people who are at that level are the most dedicated, the most true believers, the hardest core of the hardcore, okay? That's how they get there, and that's how they stay there. It's when they start showing signs of disaffection or disloyalty to Miscavige or to the cause, or they're screwing up, or they're not getting their stuff done, that they get busted and they get depromoted and they get sent off the int base, and they have to sign, of course, before they even get up there, they're signing all kinds of non-disclosure agreements, and they are reminded of that, told to keep their damn mouth shut. And of course, that usually is not even a matter of reminding them of the NDA so much as it is having them write all their overts and withholds and get sec checked and be convinced that it was all their fault and everything that happened that was bad was on them. So that whole little operation goes on as well. So there's a lot of mechanisms in place. There's a lot of I guess I'll just call them brainwashing techniques that are available to Miscavige at that level to keep people in line, to keep them believing, to keep the pressure on them, and mostly to keep them in a place where they are so frantic and so concerned and so stressed that they can't even have the time to think about whether this is a good or bad experience, or whether Scientology is really good or bad. That's such a taken for granted thing that Scientology is the thing that's going to save the world. And they bought into that so hard to get to the base or to get to the upper echelons in the first place that they just kind of take that belief for granted. They don't even have to think about it. They take it on faith, right? Remember, faith are those ideas that you don't have to think about. That's what that means. So that's how that works. And that's why it takes a while, especially for the upper level guys, when they come out of Scientology, to decompress and start reframing their experiences and recovering from the process and sort of recategorizing what happened to them. That's why. So anyway, there's some thoughts on that. Hope you found that interesting and useful as an answer to your question.